Hello Voodoo fam, sorry for my delay. I had some problems with the live streaming again. Sorry for that. Okay. Today we will speak about the creative process of the creation of an NFT collection, and at the end we will make an introduction on the interface of Blender. Okay, then the goal of the entire workshop is to understand the guideline to create a big collection, then 1000 pieces or more. But it's not, I want to say that it's not the only way to do NFT art, of course, but probably creating a big collection of 1000 pieces or more needs always the support of a self-generative art algorithm, which is usually written in Python or JavaScript or C++. This algorithm give you the possibility to create a lot of images, calculating rarities if you want. Even rarities is not something mandatory, but if you want, you can create different groups of layering, which this algorithm will put together again, one after the other one. Then we will see this process by breaking down the White Magic Voodoo Brigada collection. Then I will show you how it was done, and how it was planned. Now, also the metadata is something that is created with an algorithm most of the time when you have a lot of pieces. This metadata sometimes is created by the artist itself, then is in the moment that is generating art, then also the metadata will be generated by the script, or in some case can be generated in the moment that this image are going to be minted by a developer. Then somehow in some case the developer have the all work with all layer independent, and then while minting the script will create image one by one, considering the rarities if needed. Now many of the script, of course, they are developing a lot month by month, because a lot of developer introduce new technique and new ideas to this very complicated algorithm. That and then it's a new world that we have to point attention to, because every month there is something to discover somehow. Then then how does it work to create a collection? Where do we start thinking a collection? Okay, then for example, what is your character in your collection? Do you have a character? You have an environment, a specific environment. What is his own characteristic? There's its own accessories, the lighting that you use. There is an overall storytelling, and there is an overall aesthetic. For example, every artwork has a different aesthetic. You can do something that it's more realistic, or something less realistic, more sci-fi. Nowadays, okay, we will overview the work of 3D, for example, that in my opinion it's a very beautiful tool to create whatever you have in your mind. Somehow digital technology is a facility for the creation of art, and in today's world there are new opportunities and possibilities for someone to learn digital art on his own. Somehow this kind of education is highly accessible to the masses. Anyway, don't forget there is an artistic education that can be important for the consistency of the project itself. When you do art, somehow you have to consider the proportions, the color coordinations, and the inspiration itself, where it comes from. Then somehow with the 3D softwares nowadays, which many of them, and the software we're gonna see is like Blender, that is a complete open source software. With software like this, you can create everything you can imagine somehow. Then the imagination is your limit. You can create really whatever you think, even something that doesn't exist. Then let's see, for example, in our case, our dolls. Okay, when I was thinking our dolls, our voodoo dolls, apart the concept of voodoo that in my opinion is very interesting because it's connecting spirituality with something that is more physical. And then, you know, I was thinking about working in digital, which is very not real, but then somehow I said, why we don't do something that is connecting a bit more with reality? Then somehow the voodoo doll for us is this medium that brings us back to reality. And also my aesthetic somehow, since I'm a photographer and digital photographer, I kind of like to play with reality and realism, and somehow also with illusions. I'm a very big fan of surrealism. And then, you know, with the 3D technology, it's easier to have a very nice target artistically and to get to the point. Then somehow I saw in our dolls also, I wanted to create something that has to do with duality somehow. Then I found interesting to work the first time with auto-generative art, because at some point I said, it's interesting, we do 10,000 things which they are all the same, but they are all different one to each other. Then somehow it made me think about the concept of chaos and order, equality, diversity, community, individuality. Somehow these dolls, I thought they are like us, you know, like we are all human, but all different one to each other. But anyway, we should be all brother and one to each other and sister. And, you know, somehow it's something about chaos and order, you know, difference and equality. I don't know. This was my idea when I was thinking about that. And then everything else, it becomes fun. For example, you know, how we create accessories and other things around the doll. Then all the dolls, they have one body, but they have different little characteristic. Okay, then the accessories, actually, they were born on top of them. Then first, it was very important for me to find a way to create expression on their face. And then after all, everything came much easier, because every single object that in our mind was making sense somehow, you know, apart the pins, which are classic in voodoo, we were anyway thinking about some interesting accessories which they have different meanings somehow, and then we were just playing with them and place them on in a way that at the beginning was just interesting, and then I had to make them work in the randomization of the script. Then at some point I had to say, okay, if two accessories comes up in the same time, do they match together? Are they creating a good proportion? That was very hard to do, and time consuming, but at the end it works. Then at some point there is the color coordination, that we can speak about. This as well is a very important concept, because art is made with colors most of the time, you know, and especially when it's visual art, you know, like pictures. Okay, then somehow how to make colors vibrating together or in harmony together in a way that when they come out all random, they will work in any case. Then, okay, let's see. Now, I want to show you some of, the concept, out of Photoshop. Why? Because the first collection of voodoos were done in 3D, but they were exported one by one with different layers. And you can see here, for example, here there is all the groups of layers. Then the script is gonna manage to put them together. Then somehow, you know, there is a background folder containing all the backgrounds. Okay, now here I put the blue, but there is also the red, there is also the plain purple, you know, and then there is, you know, all the others. And then there is a group with the bodies, and exactly the same inside there is all the other bodies that you can have. And then at some point, you know, this is how you know, all the voodoo dolls were created. And how one of the problem I had is it was like to keep and to maintain the shadows. For example, if you see, if I go close to this doll, okay, and then you see this shadow of the of the top, okay. Then if I switch off the body, you see that the shadow and the background, you see that the shadow, they are still there. Then this is how we export the first collection. Now the next collection want to be exported like this, we will use a different method, for example. But okay, then in this case, then this is how it worked. Then somehow we created on the first collection, you know, a group of backgrounds, a group of bodies, of top, of hair hat, eyeglasses, mouth, accessories, and accessories extra. Okay, then the same group of object which you find in the rarities, for example, is group of object which exist in the 3D or in the 2D of Photoshop, and they are all layered with transparency. Now, let's go on. Then somehow, let's go to see this concept of color coordination, for example. Okay, there is some color schemes that you can download on web that is planned on the basics of the color coordination of and the theory of colors of Newton. Okay, here you can see that colors together they match in different ways. Then somehow color together they can create vibrations in one way. For example, when they are complementary, like blue and yellow, for example, like red and green. Okay, when they are somehow opposite and complementary, then they create this very interesting vibration, making things popping up. This can be done with 2 colors or 3 colors in the triadic you know, schemes that you can see here in the last part. Or they can be more homogeneous and then more harmonic between them. And then this is colors which are not complementary, but they are, you know, analogous. Okay, then they are close to each other. Let's say like warm and cold color, like red, yellow, orange. They are more analogous. Okay, then after this, I show you now the real Voodoo Brigada project in 3D. Okay, in 3D it works exactly like that. Okay, then somehow the same group of layers that you see in the Photoshop, structure, okay, layer structure, the same layering, you have it here. Here there is some extra things that I'm not gonna say now what they are for, but okay. Then somehow what we see here, we see that, if I switch off everything 1 second, we see that we have something called camera and light set. Okay, then this is the camera, which is always present, of course, because it's the camera that take any single picture of the 3D. And there is the all 3D scheme, the light schemes, which is classic, you know, light, you know, 3-point light +1. This is something that I most of the time do in my studio as well, in real photography, where there is a key light usually, but we will speak about this in the lighting set. But you know, it's mainly a key light, a fill light, and then there is a backlight. You know, classic of photography. Okay, then and after you have like all the backgrounds, all the bodies, all the outfits, all the heads. Now you see only one. Why? Because like in Photoshop, for example, if I go in the, you know, outfit, okay, in outfit, now there is only the poncho which is on. Okay, then somehow this is how it works. Then the funny thing is that I had to make something important, like this, for example. You see here the pin, it goes inside the ring of the of that outfit. Okay, yes, okay, then at some point I had to see all the accessories together to see if something was not clashing with another one, and they were all in the right position. Otherwise, it should be impossible, or I could have some errors, and this it took a lot of time. Now, then, okay, considering this, you see now this NFT, for example, collection is made by 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 group of layering. Okay, let's say. Now we will do for our own, now we will brainstorm now our own experiment we are gonna do in this 10 classes workshop. We will do a very small NFT collection, trying to put together 3 layers, and instead 8 of the Voodoo Brigada. We will try something with 3. And we now brainstorm something which could be, we were thinking with Yasmin, okay, what we can do, what we can't do, okay, and then we went to something that Yasmin, she found a funny title, which is The Humans Cousins. Then is about aliens. Then I said, okay, let's do something funny on something that it's, easy, okay, and then we will work on 3 layering groups. One is going to be the body of the aliens, one is going to be the background, and some accessories. Okay, then we will start from next time to the from the modeling part, and then we will create together this little small project of 3 layering. Each off layer we will put 2 objects. Then we will do 2 bodies, we will do 2 backgrounds, and we will do 2 accessories, and then we will see how they will work in an NFT. Now, last 9 minutes I have to show you now the interface of Blender and to explain you something to be ready to start next time. Now I will close this and open a new general file without saving, because this is the real Voodoo Brigada first project, and I'm not gonna change it. Okay, usually when you open, okay, first of all, something to say, okay, first of all, it's very important to work in Blender to use a mouse, a real mouse with 3 buttons, okay, because it's very important to use all 3 buttons for the complete control of the set. It's almost impossible to work with the mouse pad, or the mouse is needed. And about the computer, okay, of course 3D software work very well with powerful graphic card, which are also kind of expensive, okay, but this is not the only way. Now we will do a very easy project together, then you will be able to manage with any computer. Of course, if you do complicated stuff, when you will go on, probably we will try some little animation, probably you will have problems, okay. Anyway, for the 3D, it's important to have a powerful computer. In general, now this Blender I'm using here is the Blender 3.0, okay. I'm gonna activate my shortcut that you can see here. Now this that I'm activating, you don't have it, because this is an add-on that I download to show you here what I'm pressing, okay. Then you can see here, if I press letters on the keyboard, or I don't know, you can see whatever I do, and then you understand what I'm pressing. Okay, then this is Blender 3.0, which is in beta version now, and it's already tested, and it works very well. Usually, okay, you have inside Blender, inside the edit panel, you have the preferences where you can activate or deactivate add-ons. What is the add-on? They are kind of plug-in, okay, which most of them they are already inside the Blender, and they might make your life easier to work with Blender. Then I suggest you to activate an important add-on, will be important for the material and texturing phase, which is called, okay, this is all the add-on I have, which is called Wrangler, okay, sorry, it's Node Wrangler. Okay, then if you search in the add-on, in the search, you will have this Node Wrangler unchecked. You checked, and then after you press Save Preference. Then now this add-on, this is gonna be helpful later, is gonna be activated. Another thing I suggest you is to go in navigation and press this orbit around selection. What does it mean? That anytime that, and then you press save preference, and then you close it. Every time you select an object and you orbit, for example, with the middle mouse button, you orbit around that object wherever your viewport is looking. You see, even if I'm looking here, I can orbit around the camera, I can orbit around the light, I can orbit around the object. This is why, and it's very helpful when you have a lot of complication and a lot of complicated setting. Okay, now usually when you open Blender, it comes out with this cube, this light, and this camera. Okay, usually, and this is the, usually I just select all and cancel, but this is another thing we will see next time. Now I show you only the interface, which is very, very intimidating, but don't worry, we will do step by step all the things you need to learn, you need to know just to start, and then if you want, of course, you can go to research a bit more in other tutorials and learn better, because as I told you, this is an overview to how to create an NFT, and it's not a 3D course, which in 10 class will be a bit too short. But let's see. Okay, you can easily start doing something with that. Okay, the interface somehow is made like this. Okay, on top you have the main menu, of course, where you open project, append, and I will tell you what it is later, import, export stuff, but okay, this is normal menu. Then we have here the viewport. Okay, this is the 3D viewport where all your 3D world exists. Okay, and here there is different button to see in different way. Okay, here you see the wireframe of the object you have. Here you see texture, here you see the materials, here you see the rendering, the final rendering. Okay, and this we will use them a lot. There is other important button, like for example X-ray. You see, if I push X-ray, I see through the side and the other side. Then here I have some panel which are very important for the viewport itself, and here there is other panel. Down here you see a timeline that definitely it's used for animations. Here you have this panel which is called outliner, and it's like the layering. You see that, for example, your light, and you see select even from here your light, your cube, your camera, they are inside a collection called collection. You can change the name, for example, I don't know, set, and then you want to remove the cube from here and put in another collection. You can use these things to group things and not to get confused. In our case in NFT was like background, bodies, accessories, etc. Then here you have the property panel, very important property panel. When you want to know the name of the panel, you put the mouse on top and you wait 1 second and you will see the name. The properties is the properties of all the project. Then you have like rendering properties, like output properties, etc, etc. Here you have the world, which is the lighting around the 3D. You have the camera setting, etc. But we will see them one by one. And very important, up here you have like different, okay, all these different windows, workspace windows. They are actually different way to manage the interface. Actually, I use them a lot because, for example, if I model, I go in modeling and is everything set up for modeling. If I want to create material, I go in shading and you see there is already some kind of a fake world that make me the reflection to see how material work. If I need to do animation, I go in the animation panel and everything is somehow, all of them is the same thing but with different setting in the interface. In any case, you can always apply and modify your own interface by going here, for example, in this little corner. You see, if I need a new window here, I just can go here, hold press with the mouse and do, oh sorry, not like this, indeed, like this, and slide and create a new panel. And inside here, for example, as this is the 3D viewport, I can reopen here another 3D viewport, for example. Why I should open twice? Because here maybe I want to see one in wire mode, like here, and here one, maybe I want to see one in rendering and see straight away what my camera see if I press, for example, 0, and I see what my camera is taking inside the in the frame. Okay, then somehow okay, next time I will show you all this thing. If you want to start experimenting, you can start experimenting by moving and object around or creating object. How? By moving, you have this bar on the side, which is, of course, you have the move tool, rotate tool, scale tool, and you can, use these 3 arrows with this 3 color, red, green, blue, which is called gizmo. Okay, it's a gizmo. When you see the arrow, this it's made to grab and move. In move, the move, but it's called grab in Blender. Indeed, you can press G and move around, or you can press G to grab and say, for example, you want to grab only along the Z axis, that is the blue, and you press Z and now you move only on the Z, or Y, or press X and you go in X. Okay, then somehow these also, you have the rotation gizmo, and then you can rotate along X, Y, or Z. In the keyboard shortcut is R, or you have scale, and the scale as well is S. Okay, and then you can scale even one by one, like you see only the Z, or let's put, okay, if I scale only the Z or only the, then this is a way to modify things, but we will see next time there is another way, which is creating, playing with the object in edit mode, which is very interesting, but we will see next time for the first class in, modeling. By going in edit mode, what you can do is you can modify any single point or edge or face, which is actually, this is the soul of a 3D. A 3D is actually an object created by a lot of points in the space, connected together between them with edges. This is one edge, and a lot of edge together, minimum 3, make a plane, and a lot of plane together make a volume. And then this is how we get in 3D. Don't forget that Michelangelo and all the others made the best sculpture out of a block that was very similar to this. Indeed, we have also sculpting tools which help, for example, to have a very detailed way to sculpt object. You see, we can sculpt with symmetry, for example, and you see, and this is another way to model things in the specific sculpting thing. Now, next time we will start. I will show you how to start modeling a very simple puppet, and to give him a bit of to give him a soul and to create all the environment around it. Thank you very much. See you next time, and have a good day. Bye bye.